Hi. This is a video discussion with and for Zubin Irani, the CEO of Cprime, a very well-respected American partner that I'm in constant discussion about Atlassian apps and enhancements that you can use or not use, should or should not use. And this video is about Karma for Confluence. Let me share my screen real quick so that I can show you the marketplace entry of this app. It's created also by a German company called Comunado, a pretty well-respected software company. And I do not know the app too deeply, but let's assume it is a reliable and good working piece of software. There's no incidents that I have to doubt that. The problem that I have and why I keep recommending not to use Karma for Confluence and similar apps is because I am inherently convinced that it's not a good idea to crowd out intrinsic motivation in a knowledge management system like Confluence or a collaboration system like Jira, for that matter, or any other collaboration software. And the idea is pretty simple. So you do something in Confluence and you get a badge. You make an edit that hopefully helps the company, and you get a point. And the more points and the more badges you get, the more karma in that situation you have, and the better you are. Then you have like rankings, leaderboards, and you can see who is active and who's not. So there's a couple of problems that come with this abstraction layer that you're creating. First of all, it is an abstraction layer. So you're putting badges or points instead of reality. Like the reality may be that this edit is only a very minor change, or sometimes only changing a couple of letters may change the meaning and also the importance of something significantly. So you cannot measure the quality of knowledge work in badges and points. It's impossible. So you have an abstraction layer. So you're measuring the wrong thing. And the problem is there's a strong body of research, like scientific research, that has nothing to do with the Atlassian ecosystem. It's like scientific research about motivation. And there's extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. Extrinsic motivation is I'm working at McDonald's and I get, I don't know, $10 an hour. So I get money for my work. Extrinsic motivation. Badge for my edit. Karma points for my like. That's extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation is I'm helping my company to be for a good cause. We help people to work better together or to be good for the environment or whatever. So if your work is helping a purpose, and it could also be a commercial purpose, this is intrinsic motivation. You're doing that to advance, to make an advancement for your company, for your working life, for your education, whatever. And if you're working in Confluence, this is inherently intrinsic motivated because you're trying to do something that will not directly affect your revenue, your cost, bottom line, whatever. So you cannot tie it to money, and that's why karma points seem to be a good idea, because there's no money, so I give you those points. But those points are worthless. It's not like the guy who's on top of this leaderboard in Confluence Karma he's not the most valuable employee. He's just most active. For has clicked a lot, has put in a lot of letters. But it doesn't mean that this guy is, or woman is, the lady who really contributed the most to make your Confluence instance a valuable resource. So what gives, the question is, how do I get my Confluence active? So how can I make sure that my Confluence instance is buzzing and everyone's using it and they're putting their knowledge in there? And that's a difficult task. The first thing that I want to say is it's not solved by badges and points, so forget about Karma. The body of research, if you want to look into that, I highly recommend Dan Ariely. He has coined the term crowding out motivation. As soon as you put points and badges instead of this intrinsic motivation goes away. So it just crowds out the good work like clickers, and you don't want the clickers. You want the Zubin Irani, the founders, like the people who actually have their ideas and can spread them. You want them to be active in the system. And this is also a key to a good usage of such a system. So if your Confluence isn't used heavily, in Germany would say der Fisch stinkt vom Kopf, which means that if the top management people do not use your collaboration system, that will be very bad for your adoption. Jacob Nielsen calls this, you need strong backing from the top. So Zubin, for example, if you're looking at your customer, tell them to try to get their top managers to use Confluence. That will be much better than Karma points and badges. And then also be aware, if you're putting badges and points on things that people should do inherently as part of their normal work, it's their duty to put in their knowledge into your Confluence, because this is part of preparing meetings, processing protocols, working, basically, doing documentation, creating reference, creating processes for other people. So this is normal work. There's already a salary for that. You don't need points and badges for that. People need to do their work, and they need to do it in the best way they can. And in some cases, Confluence is the best way to use it, and in some cases it's not. But you do not want to make a duty a game. This is a very tedious and dangerous task. So there is actually a good option of using gamification for business purposes. And Sebastian, who at least Zubin knows, has actually made a course on that and given me insight on how to do that. Basically, what I know, it's not for creating adoption in things that you have to do either way. So if you want to have your Confluence be an active place, my suggestion would be become active yourself and make sure that your top management becomes active, and make sure that everyone knows that this is the place where your knowledge should go. Putting points and badges on this is not a good idea, in my opinion. I hope, Zubin, that helps you and your customers think about that. And I highly welcome comments below from anyone who sees this video. And if you think, screw it, just try out Karma in the marketplace and have fun with that. Bye-bye.